listening to people's concerns. The Sharp Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharp Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharp Way Radio. Because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you
Hey, it is Larry Sharpe.
Welcome to
So happy to hear you, to see you, to be with you, to all the things with you. So happy. Larry Sharpe, WYSL, Rochester, New York. If you want to call me, you can. 585-346-3000. You know, recently, with some of the disappointments that I have felt, it reminded me of my campaign last year, which I know many of you watched and cared about. Some of you voted for me. Thank you. But it was a disappointment. It was a disappointment in many ways. One way in which you might not think, and that was in the system. If you remember, if you were watching, if not, it's new info for you. In 2018, when I ran, we had an actual independent party. The Libertarian Party achieved party status. And achieving party status was a big deal in New York and never been done before. 2 years later, after we had gotten party status, and we had 107 victories in 2019 of libertarians across New York State making impact, the state changed the rules, said, nope, doesn't work anymore, can't do it, and changed it during COVID lockdowns to make it to where it was impossible for us to get back on the ballot. So I thought, this is obviously not fair, clearly not fair. So I go to court and go, well, no worries, right? The court system, the judicial branch, is separate from the other two branches. They will absolutely check them and fix this. Of course they would. I actually believed that. And I told them, I said, look, there is no way that this is fair. For the past 100 years, if you achieved party status, you kept it for 4 years. That's it. There was no law that said it was for 4 years. That's true. But everyone knew that's what it was. So if you want to change your rules for party status, of course you may, but I get it for 4 years. I spent a year of my life and $500,000 to get party status. Of course you give it to me, right? For 4 years. Change the rules after. They didn't. They changed the rules in the middle, 2 years, to where I wasn't running. So I didn't have a chance. There wasn't a governor election. They did it during a presidential election. I wasn't running. How could I achieve ballot access? It was literally impossible. And they said, I don't care. State can do what it wants. But it just reneged on a deal, an agreement with a citizen. The judges said, I don't care. Okay. Then I said, okay, it's anti-choice, right? Because most people who run know they're not going to win, but people vote for them. And in New York State, 500,000 people every time over the course of every 4 years, every 2 years, vote for a non-Democrat Republican, knowing they're not going to win. Why? It's political speech. It's a First Amendment piece. It's constitutional. Of course it is. Of course it is. That was my second argument afterwards, after I lost the first one. Okay, this is clear, right? Obviously, this is true. And I said, to be clear, there is no harm in letting someone like me on the ballot. If you don't like me, don't vote for me. Millions of people did that in 2018. I had the receipts. It's so obvious what I'm saying. I have the receipts. But there are 500,000 people who want to vote for a non-Democrat Republican in New York State every single cycle, every 2 years. So if I'm not on the ballot, you are creating harm. If I am on the ballot, there's no harm. You don't like me, don't vote for me. There's 2 other options. Enjoy. They said, I don't care. Not just that. Judge Weinstein out of Albany literally said Larry Sharpe did not make a constitutional argument. He said that in his rebuttal. In fact, in writing, it is public knowledge. I made a constitutional argument. I literally said constitutional argument in both writing and in my oral argument. I said, no, you didn't. No recourse. Not fair. No. Get away. I came back again. You guys know. I came back again. And I said, look, before we all tried it, you said all these things. Now that we've tried it, everybody's failed. A sitting congressman, people got mad at me and said, well, Larry, if you just had the support, you can get in the ballot. Lee Zeldin couldn't get on the ballot. He was the Republican nominee. He tried to get on the ballot an independent party. He couldn't do it. He's a sitting congressman with the Republican Party backing him. He couldn't do it. Another guy couldn't do it who was literally a multimillionaire. He couldn't do it. And then I failed. I've done it before with a team. It is impossible. So after everybody failed, I went back again. And I said, look, I gave you receipts the first time. You ignored me. I gave you receipts the second time. You ignored me. Here's the receipts again. No one can do this. It is clearly physically impossible. You have banned all parties except for 2. It's what you've done. You've banned political speech except for a left-right paradigm that is ripping our country to pieces. And I said that in my writing. And when I got there, they wouldn't let me talk. They literally said, you can't talk. So the state got 3 attorneys. 2 people could talk. I had me and an attorney. Only an attorney could talk. And it just went, that's fair. That's how it works. Didn't care at all. What made me so upset about that wasn't just the loss. Obviously, I hated the loss. But I really wanted to believe in the system. I wanted to believe in institutions. I wanted to. Because I wanted to believe there's some institution, there's some system here that will give me redress, that I could fight back. And when I talked to one of the judges, again, this is oral argument. This is public if you want to see it. If any of you are geeks and want to go see it, please go ahead. I literally said, I cannot go anyplace else. You might say, well, Larry, change the law. I can't, because you won't let me on the ballot. You won't let my party exist, so we can't vote our people in to change the law. So you have taken away my opportunity to go through either the legislative branch or the gubernatorial branch. I can't go through the executive or legislative branch. You have stopped me from doing so. I was trying to. So I'm going through judicial. And I said, you're my only hope. If it isn't you, there is no one. I've been blocked from the other 2. That's why I'm to you. And they basically said, we can't do anything. We don't have any rights to do anything. That was one of the excuses. How is that real? Judges all the time do what they want. But in this case, they can't. I felt so betrayed by my institutions. I felt so betrayed by the system. And I still feel that. That hasn't gone away. But I'm a third party. I guess I should expect it. But the point I want to bring up now is, you might go, well, Larry, I'm not a third party. I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. What do I care? Maybe you don't. But maybe you should. Because if you're a Democrat, You have people like AOC who tell you they're going to do all types of great things, who show up and say, I'm going to give you all the things Democrats want. I'm going to do all those things. And then what happens when they get into power? They disappoint you. They don't give you anything. If you're a Democrat, did you get Medicare for all, or did you get expanded, debt, school debt? Did they relieve school debt? No, you didn't get that. It's going to get shut down right now in the courts. If you're a Republican, you might go, great. Did they lower the budget? Did they stop spending on sending money to overseas? No, you didn't get that. In fact, you know what you got? You got George Santos, if you're a Republican. You got a blatant liar, con man. Why? Because the system is so broken, you will simply vote against the other no matter who you have. No matter who you have, you'll vote against the other, even though you'll gain nothing. The system is so broken. So people here in New York City will vote for AOC because she's not a Republican and they're evil, even though she'll do nothing that they want and not support anything and anybody here to be forward. I say this all the time. When she first ran, her and her team were knocking on doors. Amazing. I was very impressed with her hustle. Whatever you might say about AOC, I know some people love her, some people hate her. She worked. She worked for that seat the first time. After that, I don't know who she is. Now she shows up. Every time she shows up, she gets yelled at. But they keep voting for her. And she's going to win again. George Santos. They voted for him because he wasn't a Democrat. They didn't care who he was. He wasn't a Democrat. Vote for him. And now look at Kathy Hochul. How many Democrats in this state? 6.5 million registered Democrats in this state. How many voted for her? Why? Because she wasn't a Republican. And what are you getting? A terrible governor who doesn't care about you. But she's not a Republican, so I guess you win? This is a broken system. I'm disappointed. I want to fix it. Am I right? Am I wrong? Tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Way Radio. WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and the chat after the break.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution.
What a powerful segment. If that's not eye-opening to people, I don't know what is.
Business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Are you interested in indoor target shooting? Or do you know someone interested in indoor target shooting? The Rochester Rifle Club has an indoor range in Brighton, New York. Shooting is with .22 caliber rifles, air guns, and pistols with reduced loads. We have leagues and open shooting times. For more information or for a membership application, go to our website at rochesterrifleclub.org. That's rochesterrifleclub.org.
Only available in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com. Official top quality tees, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting the colorful WYSL logo or the already famous Mount Worstmore line of merch depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who is front and center up on that mountain. WYSL official items make perfect gifts, or they're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Locally produced and sold only in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Yes, Larry Sharpe here. Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. If you like this show, it's fine. You can watch it or listen to it every Tuesday, 1 p.m. I'm here. You can check me out on Sharpe Way, on all the cool things, on the Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and all of that stuff. Or just check out WYSL Radio. All good. Number to call in, 585-346-3000. I want to bring up a couple of comments from the chat that just really hit home. Patty says, when I ask people what they liked about Kathy and why did they vote for her, I get blank looks and I get, she's a Democrat. Yeah, that's the reason. And that's not the right reason, right? I mean, if you're a Democrat, good. You can be a Democrat, but you shouldn't vote for someone because they're a Democrat. You should vote for someone because you think your life will get better or they'll push your personal agenda or any of those things. That makes sense. But because she's a Democrat, that's a terrible idea. She goes on to say, when I say, is your life better because of her, she gets silence. Yeah, I get that constantly. If I get the reverse. They complain about her. But then I said, so why'd you vote for her? Well, what else was I going to do? That's the system we have now. That's the system we have now. Right? I did a debate with Howie Hawkins, part of the Green Party. Now, I like Howie personally. I don't like all of his policies. I'm not a Green Party guy. That's not who I am. For my taste, they're too socialist for my taste. So I'm not a Green Party guy. But I would get if you wanted to vote for a Green Party guy because you didn't like your Democrat. That would make sense. And if I could get more parties on, I'd rather it happen. Because I believe, and maybe I'm crazy, but I believe that if we have more parties, then I have to argue my issues in the public and win you over. And I believe if I get out there with everyone else, I will win you over. The Democrat and Republican don't believe that. If they believe that, they would let more people be out in the system. They don't. They want a two-party system, so other guy evil, I don't have to have any solutions because they don't have any. That's the problem. Now, again, I don't agree with most of the Green Party solutions. Some of them I do. They're not all bad. But I don't care. Let them be out there. Because if you think that's right, I need you to hear me so you can believe me instead. That's what I want. But there's something else. I'm going to give Howie a lot of credit here. I think Howie actually believes what he's saying, and I think he's a totally good faith actor. He wants to help New Yorkers, and he thinks that's the way of helping New Yorkers. Okay, let's have the conversation. It's good faith. You're trying to help. So am I. Does anyone listening honestly believe that Kathy Hochul wants to help New Yorkers? Come on. Come on. She's been in government for decades, literally, in New York State government for decades. Has this state gotten better in the last couple of decades? If she wanted to help somebody, she kind of already would have done that. So I think we know that's not true. I just thought it was so good what Patty said. Is exactly right. So yes. Sam says, isn't it interesting legal precedent? Oh, is it interesting how legal precedent gets thrown out when it favors the ruling elites? Yeah, Sam, and the point I brought up, and I brought this up in court, which no one cared. Imagine, if you would, Sam, that I have a garage and Dave is renting my garage out and he gives me $100 every month and he gets half my garage and he can put his stuff in it. And as Dave gives me $100 every month, He puts his stuff into my garage. I give him access to it. He takes his stuff in and out whenever he wants. That's what we've done. Now, Sam, you go to Dave and say, hey, Dave, I see you using Larry's garage. How much it costs? Dave goes, oh, it's $100 a month. Oh, okay, great. So then Sam comes to me and says, hey, Larry, can I rent half your garage out? I go, yeah. Sam says, how much? $100. Sam gives me $100. I let him move all the stuff in. His stuff's all in. 2 weeks later, I go, oh, Sam, it's not $100. It's $300, and it's every 2 weeks. So you have to give me $300 now, 2 weeks later, or I'm gonna throw your stuff in the street. Who would say that's okay? And Sam goes, no, you're reneging on my agreement. And I'll say, Sam, I never said per month. I never said that. I said $100. And then Sam goes, but you're letting Dave go for $100 a month. I never told Dave $100 a month. I just kept taking his money. But I never said $100 a month. So he gets to stay in the old way. You don't. You have to pay $300, and now every 2 weeks. Now, if Sam goes to court and says, this is BS, Larry can't do this, is there a judge in this country that will go, no, Larry's right? Of course not. The judge would say, it was assumed to be a month. If you want to change your rent, you may, but you can only change it after a month. You already took his money. His stuff is already in your garage. You've got to give him a full month. Even though you didn't say it, we understand it. It was understood. Of course. But when it comes to ballot access, that's out the window. That's out the window. Meanwhile, Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, and working families, they get to stay at the old rules forever. Mine got changed in the middle. Yeah. Thank you for that, Sam. You are absolutely correct. John says, I just paid for health insurance plan I didn't want. Free market's gone. I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to give some credit to Obama. And I rarely do that, but I'm going to give him some. The marketing in Obamacare was amazing. Great marketing. He called it, right, go to the marketplace and buy your health insurance. The amount of people who have told me, who hate Obamacare, we tried the free market with the Obama marketplace, and it didn't work. Yes, John, I know your head's ready to explode when I say that. But yes, that marketing of the marketplace has made many Americans believe that Obamacare is the free market. For clarity, it's not the free market at all. However, marketing, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Sorry. Perfect. Such good marketing because people still believe that. Absolutely. Dave says, so Representative George Santos, the Republican, Brazilian, gay Jew, achieved what Hillary Clinton could not. He flipped and he flopped, and no one noticed. Dave, you are right. He is Republican and Brazilian and gay and not Republican and not Brazilian and not gay and Jewish but not Jewish, or Jew-ish, as he says. Nobody cared because he was the only option other than the Democrat. That's all that mattered. He was not the Democrat, therefore he was okay. And the problem is, and you find this with a lot of people, I can't attack that guy because if I beat that guy up, the other guy wins. And they were so afraid the Democrat would win, they would take the Republican, Brazilian, gay, Jewish, not Republican, not Brazilian, not gay, not Jewish guy over any Democrat. And to Patty's point, they would take Kathy Hochul, as bad as she is, over any Republican. This is exactly what I'm talking about, Dave. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate this. Guys, we have to change the system. I hope you're going to help me to do this. And a lot of us talking. Larry Sharpe here, Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585 888-346-3000. Back with your calls and more of the chat. Thank you for chatting after the break.
For truth and freedom.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We're looking at partly cloudy skies out there, temps in the teens, nothing more than a stray flurry on Wednesday. Fair skies, temps in the 20s to near 30. Weather should be nice on Thursday, into the 30s for Groundhog Day, with a mixture of sun and clouds, but that Arctic front will arrive Thursday evening. Bitter cold with local lake snows will arrive on Friday. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
The all-new Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, proud to ring in the new year at their beautiful new location, 6484 Route 96 in Victor. Save $4,000 with a special one-only deal. A 2022 Cherokee Latitude Lux 4x4 in bright white clear coat, full of features like premium leather seats. See dealer for details at the right price. Lease a 23 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Willis 4xe, just $399 a month for 39 months. The 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo is only $199 a month for 24 months in Baltic Gray Metallic. Must be returning OC. A 22 Ram 1500 Classic Warlock 4x4 Quad Cab pickup in Diamond Black Crystal Pearl Coat is just $319 a month for 39 months. $25,000 cash or trade. First payment, DMV taxes and fees due at signing. Other conditions may apply. See dealer for details. We're here to fully serve Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and Finger Lakes. Make it a point to visit the most beautiful new vehicle sales and service dealership in the area. Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, now at 6484 Route 96, just east of Victor. Happy holidays.
Here's why smart, state-of-the-art Aaron Moore Zone heaters are the best way to stay warm and save on your utility bills. Hear this from Aaron Moore purchaser Andrea.
This winter, our furnace quit, so we turned on our Aaron Moore Comfort Deluxe infrared space heater and returned to our relaxing evening all comfy cozy for 2 days as our furnace was replaced. The Comfort Deluxe is light enough for easy transport up and down stairs with no assist needed from my husband. Without this compact powerhouse of a space heater, we would have needed hotel rooms. The Comfort Deluxe proved to be one of our smartest purchases, especially for the price, so thanks, Aaron Moore.
Remember, heat from Aaron Moore Infrared is healthier. There's no combustion to dry out your nose, sinuses, and skin. With new copper PTC technology, there are no bulbs to replace ever. Save when you mention the promo code WYSL. Buy direct and get lowest prices anywhere on the web when you call 800-707-8725 or visit airthenmore.com. That's airthenmore.com.
It's the third annual Thrill on the Hill snow tubing event to benefit the Mary Cariola Center. Join us Tuesday, February 7th at Greystone Golf Links and Snow Tubing. $30 per person and a $5 kiddie hill. 2 time slots are available, 4:30 to 6:30 and 6:30 to 8:30. Stoney's Pub will be open for food and drink. Purchase tickets only online at marycariola.org. Thrill on the Hill. February 7th, see you on the Hill.
WYSL.
Hi, this is Joe Santani from the radio show Medicare U. Join me along with my partner Andrea Zaleski from T65 and Beyond every week as we explore the ins and outs of Medicare. We're your healthcare translators. If you're 65 or will be soon, you'll need this important Medicare information for the best coverage, best health, and best price. Medicare U, Tuesdays at 7:30 and Sundays at 1 on the WYSL stations.
WYSL.
Are you interested in indoor target shooting? Or do you know someone interested in indoor target shooting? The Rochester Rifle Club has an indoor range in Brighton, New York. Shooting is with .22 caliber rifles, air guns, and pistols with reduced loads. We have leagues and open shooting times. For more information or for a membership application, go to our website at rochesterrifleclub.org. That's rochesterrifleclub.org.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Yes, Larry Sharpe back here again. WYSL, Rochester, New York. Sharpe Way Radio, 585-346-3000. If you want to chat, if you don't, no worries. I'm happy yapping. No worries whatsoever. It's kind of what I do. Absolutely. So I want to go back to a sad but true piece that Patty brings up. She says, I'm at the point of not believing in anything anymore. Just spend time with those I love or alone. I find people just annoying anymore. I feel everyone has or is losing their minds. She goes on to say, Bernie lit the fire in me. Those flames began smoldering. You ignited into a sharper burn. Thank you, Patty. I try to ignite. And the system keeps trying to put my fire out. I completely agree with you. And I see why so many people are just checking out. And you're doing the same thing. Checking out, spending time with the people I love, forget the rest. The system is not helping, right? It's making less and less people care. If you look at even mainstream news, less and less Americans are watching it. You know, I was speaking to a couple guys, they're tradesmen. They work in installations. And both of them are like, two guys, both in their 40s and their 50s, doing their work. And they're like, I don't watch any of the TV stuff. I don't care about politics. They just didn't care. And I'm like, you're the most invested. These two guys are literally going into people's homes, fixing things. They're working. They both happen to have two kids each. They both got kids. And they're in New York City. They're working, doing stuff. They're exactly the person who needs to be involved. Right? Some adult who has a family, who has children, you are totally bought into this system. It's affecting you every day. And they don't care. And they weren't like embarrassed by it or disappointed by it. They were very matter of fact. Whatever. All good. You know, don't care. And I think you're not alone, Patty. And I hate that. It's one of my biggest disappointments is that we can't keep these movements going. They keep hammering us and pushing us down. It's one of the reasons why I keep going. I'm hoping people will just stay with me. You know, people have asked me often, Larry, what do you think? You're going to change the world? I don't. I hope I can. I try. But do I think I'm the guy to save the world? I don't. Do I think I'm the guy who helped set it up so it's saved? Yes, I do. I hope that whatever that is, months, years, whatever it is from now, someone says, yeah, I'd given up, but I heard that crazy Larry Sharpe guy talk, and it made me make that next step. And that's how I did so-and-so. Yeah, I think I can be that guy. And I'm trying to be that guy. But there needs to be more than just me. I wish I could do it on my own. That'd be awesome. I would do it already. I can't. As I've said often, this movement doesn't require a savior. This movement requires hundreds of heroes. Hundreds of heroes. If we get hundreds of heroes, we won't need a savior, right? Because there'll be hundreds of local heroes fixing things, making things right, changing people, moving Patty, moving me, moving everybody. I think that's the key. So thank you for that. Dave says, Larry, he's talking about my garage. You would probably be fined for unauthorized renting of your garage without proper state or city permits. You are correct. So they would hammer me anyway. You're right. Either way, I get hammered. You're right. Absolutely. Josh says, the direct primary care movement is getting popular. And for those who don't know what that is, that's people directly going to a doctor, paying for their doctor directly, and getting better service. I agree. Now, the problem is a lot of people can't afford that. But the wealthy do that. If you live in New York State, if you live in New York City, you know this already. In New York City, there is already a two-tiered system when it comes to healthcare. If you are wealthy, you go to doctors who don't take insurance. And the best doctors in New York City don't take insurance. So you just go there, you write them a check, or swipe your credit card, or whatever is the way you pay, and you get your service. That's already happening. So my plan when I was running for governor, for those who don't remember, was to promote direct primary care. How do you do that? All right, just so you guys will get this. We already know through actuaries who crunch all these numbers about how much money you're going to spend on your health care in a given year. They put you in a box. It already exists. Like Josh, if you have a pre-existing condition, if you're 40 years old, if you're married, height, weight, whatever, they put you in a box. Okay, you're probably going to spend X dollars per year. For the sake of argument, Josh, you're going to spend $2,000 a year. I just made that up. I have no idea. So instead of worrying and waiting for you, just give you a debit card, $2,000 on it. Right? There's your money. Pay for it wherever you want. Use direct care. What will happen? Say you're a Medicare, Medicaid, get your money up front. You can pay if you want. Larry, what happens when you run out? When you run out, you go back to Medicare, Medicaid, just like you would anyway. So you still have your safety net in case bad stuff happens. You still have it. But now you can decide who to go to. Two things will start happening. Number one, the reason why these doctors don't take insurance is because of all the admin. Well, there's no admin now. You're swiping a debit card. They're happy to take your money now. And when they see that, they'll start lowering prices to get more Joshes in. So prices will start coming down. Not just that, Josh will start thinking about his own primary care better. He'll take better care with better doctors who won't just, by the way, if you have insurance, every time you leave your doctor's office, it ends with either a prescription, a procedure, or a test. Why? Because they have to bill to make money. So there will always be a procedure, a test, or a prescription so they can make money. But when you pay up front, the doctor's paid. They don't care if you get a prescription or a test or a procedure. They just want you to be healthy and happy so you come back. Because the customer in primary care, direct primary care, is you. The customer who comes to insurance or Medicare is the government. You're in the way. Different mindset. If we do this, prices come down, people start thinking differently, all of a sudden insurance becomes different. That is the beginning to supporting direct primary care. I've been speaking about it for 6 years. No one talks about it. But you're totally correct. No one talks about it. Absolutely. Frank says Obamacare is socialist, not free market healthcare. That is my point, Frank. The marketing on Obamacare was amazing because you are correct. Most Americans think that you are wrong. Most Americans think you're wrong. You are correct. That's some next level marketing, right? I mean, that's well done. They got the world thinking you're wrong, Frank. And you're right. So I love that idea. A little bit off topic, but the Avian Y says, I saw you discussing with Dylan, and I think he means Dylan Burns, who is a left-leaning YouTuber, for those who don't know. He says, you mentioned that taxation is not theft, because people overwhelmingly support it. At this rate, is any tax rate okay, progressive or flat? How do you decide? All right, let me cover that. That's not actually what I said. Or if I said I didn't mean it, if I did say that, I misspoke. What I said is most Americans consent to it. There's a difference. It can't be theft if you consent. Now, for those Americans who don't consent, that's theft. But the vast majority of Americans consent to taxation. Most Americans, again, overwhelmingly, believe that taxation is the only way to have a society. Again, that's not true, but they believe it. So they consent to taxation. If I say, go in my wallet, take money out, it's fine, and you do it, that's not theft. I consented. So most Americans overwhelmingly consent. In fact, in every poll you'll do, every survey you check, there's a chunk of Americans who think we aren't taxed enough. So that's why I say it can't be theft. If there is consent, it's not theft, if that makes any sense. I don't believe that we should be taxed the way we are at all. All I've talked about is how to eliminate taxes, change taxes, make them fairer, all those things. Me telling you what the American public believes doesn't mean I agree with it. And this is the problem. People think, well, Larry said that, so he thinks taxation is great. No, I don't. But most Americans do. And I can't change the country if most Americans believe that taxation is fine. In fact, it's preferred. So please accept that. It's just like I said with Frank. I agree, Obamacare is socialist, but most Americans don't. It's why we require more and more local heroes to change people's minds, to explain it to them. So I hope that's clearer for you. I wasn't supporting this at all. I was saying the reality of most Americans. That's the issue. I mean, you've seen me talk about ways of raising money other than taxation. At least I got naming rights to bridges, creating a fund where big businesses put money in to support infrastructure. So I'm all about it. But no one wants to hear me. They're not changing. So anyway, if you believe that, let me know. Do you like taxation? Tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Are you cold in your home? Pick up the phone and call Wise Home Energy at 270-5836. Don't be cold in your home. Pick up the phone, call 270-5836. Wise Home Energy has helped thousands of people get millions in grants and rebates to make their homes much warmer. So don't be cold in your home. Pick up the phone, call Wise Home Energy at 270-5836. Today.
Wise Home Energy is a participating contractor in the Home Performance with Energy Star program.
With incompetent, devious Washington and Albany leadership and a corrupt corporate media that uses news and social to control and mislead, it's important to preserve freedom of speech and to promote a truth-based society for our families. Try something different in 2023. The WYSL stations can grow your business, professional practice, or organization, so allocate your ad dollars here. Take advantage of a huge audience entertained and informed by leading conservative thought. Affordable and effective. The WYSL WYSL stations, the voice of liberty. Call 346-3000 to advertise.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Yes, Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. You know, I'm very happy that you give me a chunk of your day. Thank you. But I want to bring up something that was just kind of nudged at me right now, which is taxation and making impact. Joseph says, I agree with you because I'm finding that I'm starting to care less and less about politics too. But I have some good news for you, Joseph. And I was reminded because of the taxation piece. I think we're making change. Why do I say that? Because if you remember, Governor Kathy Hochul, Her Majesty Queen Kathy, first of her name, when she did delivered her inauguration speech, she used my talking points. I had 3 talking points about New York State, what it would take to keep people in New York State. And she brought them up. They're literally on my website, and they've been on my website for over a year. It is the idea of affordability, opportunity, and safety. New Yorkers have to feel they can afford to stay here, feel like there is opportunity here for them and their family, and feel safe. Those 3 things. If you focus on those 3 things, New Yorkers will stop leaving and then eventually come back. She actually mentioned all 3. Now, don't get me wrong. None of her policies did any of that. But at least she had to acknowledge that what I was saying made sense. She had to acknowledge that what I was talking about was real. And she did. We made some impact. It's not amazing, I know. But the fact that she has to say that means they have to start paying attention a little bit. If we can push further, we can make her have to do something, particularly if she gets into trouble within the Democratic Party. So that's a positive thing. But I have one more, talking about taxation. I talked about last year creating the NIST, NYSST, the New York State Social Trust, which is a way to get big banks to stop buying up all our farms, to stop buying up all our cannabis farms, to stop buying up all our housing developments, raising the price of housing, crushing farmers, and instead put money into this trust. If they put money into this trust, the New York State Social Trust, they'll get a dividend every year. They put in money and they get a yearly dividend. It is a safe way for them to get cash back, which is not bonds and is not buying up all property. So now farmers are safer. Housing prices will at least stabilize, if not go down, because they won't have that big piece there. Easier for people to buy. And now as you put money into this trust and we invest it, we can now pay for other things like Medicare, Medicaid, school, whatever the case may be. We could pay for schooling. If we pay for schooling, we can eliminate the school tax. Think about that. Eliminate school tax. Most people who pay property tax, half of their property tax is school tax. Their property tax is cut in half across the state. All of a sudden now, people can stay here. Imagine if your property tax is cut in half. Rents could stabilize. Everything could get better by creating this trust. And people thought, well, this is a good idea. And I said, well, Norway has one. Singapore has one. We've done it before. We're New York State. We're the financial capital of the country. We could do this. Some people thought good idea. Some people thought nuts. Most people ignored me. But they didn't ignore me. Because if you look now, do some search on the internet, there is now a movement to create a U.S. sovereign fund. Yes. Yeah. I was the only candidate running talking about a sovereign fund, a place for big business to put their money that's not buying back their stock, which is crushing us, or buying up property, which is crushing us. Give them a place to put their money that will help us. Now, if you're on the right, you should say, great, we're lowering taxes. Awesome. And you'd be right. If you're on the left, I want big business and rich people to pay for more social stuff. They will. Yes. This is win-win. I talked about this for 2 years. I've been speaking about this. And now it's becoming more mainstream. People are talking about it. I think we are making impact. It's nowhere near as fast as I want it. I don't know if it's fast enough. I don't know. But at one point, whatever point that is, we hit that tipping point, that critical mass, to people go, this left-right yelling at each other isn't working. Let's find some answers that can make us satisfied and actually fix some problems. This is what I've been talking about for 6 years. Every time someone has a problem, I create a policy that doesn't increase taxation at all, because I'm clearly anti-taxation. So I always make less taxes, or equal or less, never more. And we get better service. And there's still always a safety net for people who fall down, because people will fall down, whether it's their fault, luck, combination, bad decision, wrong place, wrong time, whatever. People fall down. And we have to do that. We have to have a system that supports them, but doesn't punish others. That's the reality. We don't want to punish others. We want to support people, and we want to create a system to where people want to voluntarily help each other. And we can do that. We've stopped it, right? We've stopped that. We shut it down. There are too many people who say businesses are great and awesome, or businesses are evil. They are neither. They're apathetic. If we give them a system where cheating and being bad makes the most money, they will cheat and be bad. If we make a system to where being good and helping others makes them make the most money, they'll be good and help others. They don't care. They're apathetic entities. They don't care. That's what I want. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. So yes, let me just grab this if I could. Valerie says, your ideas are a breath of fresh air, Larry. They're not Democrat or Republican, which are not working. Well, which these D and R ideas are old news, same old, same old. I agree. Yes, 100%. So I'm trying to make, while I am absolutely an ideologue, guilty as charged, I am a libertarian. And I believe that liberty is key and important. And in fact, the highest goal, if we can achieve it. I do believe that. But I'm also a realist. And I get that I can't do and make every change and fix everything when culture has existed for literally hundreds of years, if not thousands. I can't change that in 5 minutes. But can I move us towards a better way? I think yes. I think we all can. And that's the key. We can all begin to be a little bit better and try to make people think a little bit better in our lives. I hope we can. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.
I will rise.